Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again today. Here are some of the biggest misconceptions or lies foreigners have about Filipinas. I've been coming here on and off for 15 years. It'll be 15 years in April. And this is just my boots on the ground observations. What I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing. I always tell people that, women here are not from outer space. They're just like any other women I've ever met. Yeah, they do have some cultural differences, obviously. But they love, they cry, they hurt, they have dreams. But there's some deeply held misconceptions that a lot of foreign men have about Filipinos. And I just want to talk about a few of them today. Maybe we can get through, or maybe you can talk to your girlfriend about. But the first one is they only want to use you for their financial gain. And, Filipinos have a reputation as being gold diggers. Well, we can't paint all Filipino women based on the actions of a few. And let me also say, these misconceptions that I'm talking about, it's not all Filipino women. These are the women who date foreigners, because that's a whole different segment of society over here. Not all Filipinas date foreign men, okay? Most of them are like any other race of people. They want someone from their own, country, their own nationality. But finances is always at the root of interest when it comes to Filipinos and foreigners. And that's true. But it goes deeper than that. It's usually the man who has to determine that, whether it's going to go from finance to romance. But so many couples stay together and get through that initial financial interest. But their reputation as gold diggers, from what I've seen, it's really not a good one. Of course, they come from a traditional culture where, the man is supposed to step up and pay the bills and everything like that. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions, is that Filipinos only want you for their financial gain, and they're gold diggers and, opportunists. And there are some like that over here, just like they are anywhere else in the world. But I believe that's one of the biggest misconceptions. The second one we're going to talk about is they seem to think that Filipinos are undereducated or uneducated. I had a guy on my live stream yesterday saying, "Yeah, come over here and get your quality woman with an education and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that." He has no idea what he's talking about. According to the Demographic and Health Service Program in the Philippines, 99% of Filipinos aged 15 to 49 are literate, okay? With 37% of those, they have post-secondary or college education. Okay, that's pretty damn good. I know from my experience, okay, I've had 3 serious relationships over here. 2 of the women had college degrees, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But to say that they're uneducated or undereducated, it's just a fallacy. It's just something that it's a lie, it's a misconception that people run with. Most of the women that you're going to meet on those dating sites, they have at least a high school education. Many of them have a college education. So yeah, I've had 2 of the 3 of the women I've dealt with over here have college educations. The third misconception that foreigners have about Filipinos is they have no standard as it pertains to looks and appearance of a future mate. Now, this is kind of a toss-up. Of course, when it comes to foreigners and them dating foreigners, yeah, you're going to see that. Obviously. A lot of age gap relationships, and it's based on need. But most of the women that we're dealing with, they've had Filipino boyfriends before. and they were the same age or somewhere around the same age, and they like nice looking men too. I see it. Coco Martin, Daniel Padilla types. But as it pertains to foreigners, we think that they'll take anybody and that they don't have any standards. But it's just not true. They really do have standards. But a lot of them who date foreigners are in no position to be choosy or picky. So when you come over here, you're going to see some odd couples. And it's easy to get that perception that, hey, these women are dating anybody. They have no moral standards. They have no physical standards. But it's just not true 100%. This is a big misconception because I've seen guys turn down over here in the Philippines that have plenty of money. Okay. What is their standard? I really don't know. Where do they cut it off? I don't know. But I know it's there because I've seen guys be turned down. I've seen guys get off the plane and go back home without ever meeting anybody. So there is a standard there. And it may be hard to see. It may be hard to decipher, but it's certainly there. Now, the fourth misconception is that Filipinos are easy. These women aren't easy. They're certainly not easy to deal with. They come with their own bag of tricks and their own difficulties. They make it look easy. It's all part of that game that I tell you guys about. There is an ulterior motive behind it. They lure you in. It's really like a trap. But once they get you in, there's nothing easy about dealing with a woman with a whole different culture, whole different background, values, morals, and all of that, guys. So yeah, this is a big misconception. All the Filipinos are easy. There's some thought that goes into that. Okay, so the next time when there's no resistance, you don't meet any resistance, you got to think, hey, Sunshine Shoulder says there's something behind this. Just remember that. They're not easy, man. Okay? The fifth biggest misconception foreigners have about Filipinos is that they're conservative in bed. Now, I don't know where they get that from. I guess from other Filipino vloggers or the fact that, Philippines is a big religious country that teaches, couples to save themselves from marriage. But we're talking about my boots on the ground experience. That's not the case. And a lot of people can back that up. I'm only talking about the women who date us, the women that we meet on these dating sites. Everything goes literally from day one. That's just been my experience. That's why I say it's like a script. It's like they all do the same things. Nothing's off the table. I mean, if she's willing to cooperate, to experiment, and the younger the woman, the more likely she is to want to experiment and be cooperative. And when I'm talking about younger, I'm talking about 20 to 25. And then, older, I'm talking about 30 and up. Maybe that's a misconception. I don't know. I'm just telling you my experience. I'm talking about everything. Oral, anal, it don't matter, guys. This has just been my experience. So, no, they're not conservative in bed. Maybe it's a culture, yes. But the women who meet us, it's something totally different. Remember, there's a script going on. There's a game being played with these women. There's ulterior motives behind everything they do. They may seem freaky at first. They may seem easy at first. That's part of the trap to get you in there. But we think that they're conservative because a lot of guys, they come over here and their goal is to meet a virgin. I know it sounds cringy, man. It sounds shallow, but I'm just doing a video on the misconceptions that we as foreign men especially have about Filipinos. And that they're conservative in bed is one of them, because a lot of guys, they've never had the experience of coming over here. But I'm not saying the women are loose. I'm not saying they're freaks or anything like that. I'm just saying that when you meet them, The very first day when they meet you at that airport or they come to your hotel, it's on. Nothing's off the table. You know, that's just been my experience. So we can throw that one out. Now, your experience may be different, okay? But the women who date us, they seem to be more open minded, more ambitious. And that's going to take us into the last misconception foreigners have about Filipinas, and that they're lazy. Now, most of the women that you're going to meet, they're going to be the breadwinner in the family. They're going to be the most educated. They're going to speak the best English of anybody in the family. That's why they're able to pull it off. That's why they're able to make it seem so easy with us. Communicating with us and getting along with us and everything like that. This isn't easy to do, guys. You can't do it. But there's a misconception that they're lazy and they don't want to work. They just want you to take care of them, right? But it's not true. Let me throw something out here so you'll know that I'm not lying. Now, when I met my son's mother, she was working 12 to 14 hours a day. Okay. I met another woman who literally worked herself into exhaustion. She was working, I believe, from 7 o'clock in the morning to 11 p.m. at night. And then one day she just got up to go to work and fell back down to bed. Her mother made her quit. But according to the International Labor Organization, or ILO, in most countries, well, in other countries, it's the men who generally put in more hours at work. But by contrast, the ILO found that the Philippines is a case of global exception, where women work longer hours than men, apparently driven by their desire to earn more money for their families. Okay, I'll put this link in there if you want. It's a long link because I was looking for some information on this particular misconception. But the breadwinner is certainly not a misconception, guys. The women that you're dealing with are the breadwinners. So, when guys talk about, hey, do I have to take care of the family? Well, you got to replace that money that you're taking out of the house. She's giving most, if not all, her money to taking care of her family, supporting her family. But to say that they're lazy, absolutely not. That's the furthest thing. That is a misconception. These women work over here, man. And when you come over here, you're going to see Filipinas are the ones running everything. You go in the bank, they're the bank executive. You go in the grocery store, they're the manager. The restaurant, the same thing. They have a big part in running the Philippines over here. And yeah, they said they're a global exception. And I agree with that. But to call them lazy, that's a big misconception. I just wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit because it's a lot of new guys and people coming to the Philippines. And, it took me 1,000 years to try to get rid of all the myths and misconceptions about women over here. I just thought I'd talk a little bit about it today. But when you come here, this, family is really the basic and most important aspect of the Filipino culture. I mean, they do as much as they can for each other, even financially. I mean, if you got a problem with that, man, you're going to have a big time problem. These women are not from outer space. Majority of the women I've met, they've just been outstanding human beings. I've never been scammed over here. No one's ever stolen anything from me. They're easy to get along with once you get to know them. Okay, but remember, they do have their own bag of tricks, man, and problems that every woman's going to bring to the table. So thank y'all so much for stopping by. If you're in America, it's getting late. Before you let your head hit the pillow, please find somebody to help. If you don't want them late grocery runs, beer runs, weed runs, just getting off second shift, or you're on your lunch break, see somebody in the street, or wherever you see them, buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink, give them a few dollars. It's not going to put your life in jeopardy. If you're in the Philippines, it's early. I guess it's about 7:30 a.m. Beautiful Friday morning. Not a day goes by we don't help somebody. Tonight we're going to have the Sunshine Shoulders 1,000 peso giveaway drawing that we've done every single week since I've started my channel. trying to help Filipinos get back on their feet from the lockdowns and the pandemic. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. We help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay out of trouble. I'll see y'all next time. And don't do anything stupid.